Hello and welcome to Unwise with Kalu. It's good to be here and it's good to have you with us. I'm hoping that we're going to have a good time on the show today. Now, our major thrust in this season is marriage, building strong homes, building strong families so that, society can be stronger because our families are strong. And so one of the major issues and one of the things that come up in families is having children. In our part of the world, once people get married, everybody expects that they begin to have children. And so procreation is very important. In fact, for some families, the only reason a man is supposed to get married is to have children. And so once you get married, there's that pressure constantly expecting that the children will start to come forth. Sometimes couples try and they don't succeed on time. They have to wait a short while, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. We've even had couples waiting 15, 20 years before children began to come. But they're precious. That whole scenario comes with a lot of pressure. Internal pressure because you're wondering, why am I not having children? And then external pressures from family, and friends and society, because you don't have children. And so today's show is really about how you manage your marriage while you're waiting for this beautiful thing to come. It ultimately comes, but you have to go through that process of waiting and managing all the expectations around you before it finally shows up or before they finally show up. And so today's show is really about that person, that couple out there who have tried and are trying and are still at it, but haven't yet gotten there. How do we manage our marriages while we wait? Marriage can get still because some marriages have been known to collapse under the pressure. So you want to strengthen your marriage, you want to help you strengthen your marriage so that while you wait, you're still having a good time. Okay. All right. Now, marriage is an institution created by God himself. And when God brought the woman to the man, the intent was that she would be a helpmate to help him fulfill his mandate of dominating the earth. Okay, so children were a part of that mandate, but they were not the only part of that mandate. And so it cannot be that your marriage is just about you having children. You must get that clear. You guys have come together not just to have children, but also to help one another, fulfill the purposes that God has for your individual lives as well as for you as a family. Now, when the children come, they add value to the process, they add value to your lives, but that is not the only purpose of your marriage. And so you cannot allow yourself to, just only dwell on the fact that children must come for you to fulfill purpose. No, children are not the reason you fulfill purpose. They come, they add a lot of joy and pleasure to your life. So yes, they should come. And even God wants them to come, but they're not the reason for your marriage and they're not your purpose in life. You must have that clear so that you can deal with the pressure. As the pressure comes, just say, sorry, I will have children, but they're not the reason I'm here. They're not the only reason I'm here. And then you can get on with life just by thinking slightly different. Now, what are the things that you can do, to spice up your marriage and keep your marriage going while you're at it? One of the major things that families must do, husbands and wives must do, is communicate. Have a beautiful relationship through your communication. Communication is key to express. You must find expression for yourselves. Even the thing you are going through, as in waiting for a child, you must be open to one another about it. You must talk about it freely. You must dream together about your children. You must, create scenarios about your children. You must just talk. It helps. Now, whenever you get a couple who are not talking, that's a red alert. There's a problem. You have to be talking about stuff, talking about everything and anything, and talking also about your desire for children. No, it shouldn't be a taboo topic. It should be something you talk about freely and just about freely, and keep giving voice to your expectations, so that at the end of the day, what you speak is what you get, and when you speak them to each other, it helps. Okay, so communication is very key to your keeping your relationship flowing. Okay, and your relationship must be flowing before the children come. Otherwise, children might not even come, and when they do come, where are they going to end up? You must be building your relationship so that when they come, they thrive in that relationship. Otherwise, you now have another problem when they finally show up. So communicate, very important. Now, create an ambience and an atmosphere that is conducive for, you guys to enjoy yourselves at home. A lot of the time when you get into some homes are just houses. There's no life in the home. Create life. And it's not just furniture. It's about the spirit of your home. This is really particularly for the woman, Create an ambience. Let there be music. Let there be color. Let there be beauty. Let there be, let it be a place where people can come in and just find peace. Let your husband let your husband come home and, just feel like, yes, I've entered my haven. This is my haven and nothing can shake me here. So yes, there are pressures outside, but when you come home, it should be a place where you can just relax and be yourselves. Now, this is very important, but a lot of families don't have it. Now, these days we have much more beautiful homes, but it's not about how pretty the home is, about the spirit of the home. And I must say that the woman is key to ensuring that this happens. Accept one another. Don't try to redo each other, Now, sometimes because, when you have a spouse who is, for whatever reason, let's just create a scenario, she has fibroids and they're causing a problem with conception. And, now you now want to remake her. And you now want to, she now starts to feel like she's not good enough because of, and you are not encouraging her to be the best that she can be. This is not the time to redo one another. This is not the time to remake one another. This is the time to just accept one another, build on your strengths, and cover your weaknesses. That is building your relationship. The most important thing about waiting for children is the fact that while you wait, you have a lot of time to create that place where they come to and they can be the people that God has created them to be. A lot of children come into families that are not ready for them. Now, the more time you have, the more ready you are for them to come. And when they come, they should thrive, they should do well, they should excel, just because you have created that place where they can come to. Now, it's a different scenario when a man and wife just get married today and then in 3 months' time they're pregnant. They're not as prepared as you who's waiting for a while is. So, accept one another and create, allow yourself to accept each other and be the best you that you can be. Finances are another really tough one. Now, if your finances are not good and you're waiting for a child, you are in trouble. It's just not a good place for you. So try to live, within your means. Don't put unnecessary pressure on yourselves, and so that you don't have that to deal with, along with trusting God for children. You don't want the two to hang out together. It's not good for you. So make sure that your finances are in order. Make sure that you have a good financial relationship with God. You're paying your tithes, you're doing your giving, and then you are saving and doing all the things you need to be doing. This child that is coming is going to require money. So make sure you're also putting together something for the child when she gets here. When he gets here, he will require money. Baby food is not easy. Clothes, school fees are not easy. So you need to start to prepare. That's what I said about being prepared. You have a chance to be absolutely prepared to give your child exactly what you want to give them. Now, some of us want to give our children Ivy League education, but we can't because we can't afford it. But you, who is waiting, you can begin to prepare for it early on, so that when the child gets here, it becomes an easy work. So watch your finances. Don't let them go out of whack. Be faithful. I must say to the men, because a lot of times you are under pressure. Okay, your wife isn't bringing forth, and the next thing is, let's go outside. Your family members, your friends, even the women, these days they come and say, oh, you're such a good man. I just want to have a child for you. I don't know, no pressure at all. Just to have a child. And then you are tempted because you don't have a child. You want one. It's a legitimate want, but don't do it unfaithfully. It's not worth it at the end of the day. Ask Abraham if it was worth it. It wasn't. Too much pressure, too much stress. It's just not worth it. Stay faithful to her, and you'll be glad you did. By the time the child comes, you'll be so glad you did. And look around at the men who did it. You'll find out that they don't always talk about their issues, but ask them, talk to them, and you discover that it isn't worth it. So just wait. Wait with your wife. Be faithful to her. Now, what happens when you now go out and you think, let me just try? What you do is you stress out your wife. You give your wife all kinds of negative emotions, and those emotions now make it even more difficult for her to have a baby. So why don't you just wait with her and enable her, work with her until the baby eventually comes. Now, this is even a scenario where the woman is the person who has the issue. We have couples where the man is the one who has a problem. Then women now start to think, I can, and they do the same thing. It's not worth your while. It's just not. Nothing you want from God is worth doing something that is not right by him to get. Nothing. So why don't you just wait? On the other hand, we have couples who, there's nothing wrong. You are medically sound, nothing wrong with the guy, nothing wrong with the girl, yet the baby is not coming. That should tell you that God is working something out. There's several examples in scripture of people who didn't have children on time, and when the children came, they were amazing, experiences. Samuel is one of them. He became the first prophet of Israel. John the Baptist is another one. You can wait. God doesn't allow anything come your way that he has not prepared and enabled you to pass through. So you can wait this out. Be faithful. Stay faithful. Don't go out. It's not worth it. Now, another one is a vibrant sex life. I once knew a couple who the guy was, I think, an architect. The lady was a banker. And so they wake up in the morning, everybody's going their separate ways, everybody's under pressure. By the time they come back, they're tired. And of course, they were having sex, but they were not having enough sex. And so they were not having children. It's just that basic. If you don't have sex, you can't have children. And it's been medically proven that for you to confirm that there's a real problem with you, you have to have made love 3 times, at least 3 times a week for 1 year. And nothing happened before they now say, okay, there's a problem. So you need to make time out to have a good sex life, one where the woman is enjoying it, the man is enjoying it. Both of you are having fun at it, I know there's a lot of material, and I'm not talking about pornography, neither am I talking about any of those crazy things that people do. I'm talking about real good books and materials that you can get hold of to tell you and teach you and give you tips on how to go about ensuring that your wife enjoys sex and that you enjoy sex. So a vibrant sex life is key to your having children. First, you need sex to have children in the first place. And then when it is good, chances of it happening and there's a click is much higher. So enable the woman to relax. That's why I talked about a cozy home, a home where, people are free. There's love in the air. It's pretty. You like it when you get there. You feel safe and you feel relaxed when you're there. Once you create that ambience, a good sex life is not difficult. And then you can actually have the children you want. So sex is very important. Let's have as much of it as possible. The funny thing is that when people are single, they're trying so hard to have this sex. When they now get married, it's like, oh, okay, we're here now. Not enough sex. Let's have as much sex as you can. You are authorized. You are allowed. It's the only place where you can do it anytime you like, anywhere. There must be freedom. There must be free expression of yourselves as you engage with each other sexually. A vibrant sex life is key to keeping a good marriage. In fact, it's a strong tool for enforcing the one flesh phenomenon. The more sex you have, the more you get to be like each other, begin to understand each other better. So it's good for your marriage. You need to strengthen your marriage because it's under pressure. The fact that you want children is putting it under pressure. So you need to strengthen it. And so sex is a good place. Do as much of it as you can. Okay? And I'm sure that the results will come. It's against the background of wanting children that have not yet come. And a lot of the time, it is the women who bear the pressure of not having children on time. I've heard of a mother-in-law who came into her son's home and she began to remove the pictures of the wife and called her a he woman. A really horrible word, local word she called her daughter-in-law. And all she was just saying is, I want grandchildren, I'm not getting grandchildren, so this is a man. My husband is married to another man. My son is married to another man. So let's get out of this place. The only reason a mother can come in and do that in her son's house is because her son is not protecting his wife. You need to protect your wife from the onslaughts. You need to have a ready answer for them every time somebody brings it up. And that's why the next point is very important, having a strong prayer altar, an altar that sends to God and receives from God. Because as you stay in the place of prayer and the word as a family, you constantly get reinforcement and motivation from God to go through what you're going through. It's a process. It's not punishment. It's just a process of God working something out in your life. And so if you can just create that ambience where you and your wife are safe, and people just don't come in and say things to her and do things to her and embarrass her and put her under pressure. And you don't even say things to her that embarrass her and put her under pressure. You must protect your wife from the onslaught. We also know that when the man has the problem, a lot of women don't talk about it. In fact, other family members never get to know that it is the man who has the problem. So they still come to the house, abuse the woman. Meanwhile, it is the man who has the problem. So we have all those scenarios, and the important thing is that the man rises up and says, no, it doesn't matter whose problem it is or who has the issue. When a man and a woman get married, they are one. So if a husband has a health issue, it becomes their issue. If a woman has a health issue, it becomes their issue. And so men must rise up and protect their wives. Rather than being the ones who put the pressure, you should protect your wife. Guard her, protect her. Make sure that nobody stresses her so that she can have these children that you want from her. Okay? So please rise up. It requires a level of rising up for you to stand and protect and guard your wife. You need to do that in this season, okay? Until the babies come, because they will come. And when they eventually come and you haven't done what you want to do, what you needed to do, you will feel so bad because at the end of the day, you just didn't rise up to the occasion. God has expectations of you. Your wife has expectations of you, and you need to rise up. Lastly, you need to check out your options. I know that a lot of at the time I got married, checking out options was not very popular. I mean, we had to preach and preach and preach before a family would think, let's go and adopt. These days, it's more, but there are options for you to enjoy while you wait for your own children. You can adopt. There's so many parentless children around, orphans around, who need someone to pick them up and give them a life. You can take that option. Of course, there are medical options. And so such things as IVF, where they, assist you to get pregnant and have children, is also an option. If you can afford it, you should take it. Because it doesn't matter how it comes. It is still God who makes it happen. So don't, belabor yourself about the how. Just, do the things that are possible, medically possible to have a child. There's surrogacy, and that is the one I know of a couple who, took that option. She went to India, and there was this surrogate mother who carried her. Her own womb was incapable of conception. Her entire womb lining was scarred. Okay, and so they tried and nothing was happening. So they said, why don't you try surrogacy? They got this woman who they paid money for carrying the baby. So the babies were fertilized outside of the womb, and then they were placed in the third party's womb for her to have the children. And I saw the children, I was amazed because they look exactly like the lady and her husband. Nothing, you would never know that a foreigner carried. In fact, it was an Indian woman who carried these children. Those children have nothing like Indian anything, So surrogacy is also a possibility. Why suffer when you can have the joy of children through surrogacy? It doesn't have to be you pushing it out. If it's your egg and it's and the man's sperm, your husband's sperms, why can't someone else push it out? Why can't someone else carry it for you when you can't carry it yourself? I mean, it's an option. Don't deny yourself, because these options are kind of whack and way out. But they are medical options. They are godly options because they are medical. They took a lot of time and effort to make sure that they happen. There's nothing diabolical about it. There's nothing evil about it at all. And so you need to look at those options as well. Think about them, pray about them, and I'm sure the Lord will give you a leading in whatever direction He would have you go. At the end of the day, your marriage is important. You've contracted this marriage. And I was listening to somebody the other day who said they made couples who came to a program listen to their vows. The vows they took the day they got married. On your wedding day, you're excited. You're just saying it. Don't just do this and get this one into my arms. Now you are in it. It says for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And that's where this comes in. So if you have to wait. It's worth it. God knows, and He always takes care. He doesn't let us down. So I want to leave you with that word, and I'm sure that a word is enough for the wise. I hope you had a nice time, and I hope that we've given you something you can work with. I'll see you again same time next week. Bye-bye.